Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. We know that Donald Trump and the Republicans have been trying to scare people over MS-13. They talk about MS-13 more than MS-13 talks about MS-13. And it apparently is having an effect, not just in stoking more xenophobia amongst Americans, but even in terms of how they spend their money. So one of the things that he has said is that you don't just need to worry about MS-13 in LA or near the border, these big cities, but in Long Island. He keeps coming back to it, Long Island, Long Island, Long Island. They are invading Long Island, and it is having an effect. By the way, over the past few years, homeowners on the southeastern coast of Long Island have spent anywhere from between $60,000 to $200,000 on bulletproof safe rooms equipped with panic buttons to fortify themselves against potential home invasions. Now, this is something that rich, scared people have worried about for some time, but now in particular with MS-13, that sort of spending is starting to skyrocket. We got a quote from one of the general managers of a company that does these sorts of renovations and says, MS-13 is a major concern in recent years, and it's a growing concern. Most people are worried about multiple things. It could be home invasions, human trafficking, and obviously gang activity, especially on Long Island. Now look, if you're worried about gang activity, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong. If you're worried about it even on Long Island, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. But the idea that especially on Long Island, you should be worried about gang activity, that seems a little bit weird. And human trafficking is a serious problem around the world, but in the US as well. But I don't think that the principal place that human trafficking is happening is amongst the wealthy of Long Island. But look, if you have the hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend thanks to huge tax cuts, sure, put in a safe room if you want. They're so scared. This guy, John Catsimatidis, billionaire, former New York City mayoral candidate, I want to just delve very briefly into the mind of one of these voters. He says, I sleep with a gun underneath my pillow, a Walter PPKS, the same one James Bond carried. My wife Margot prefers a shotgun, although once she thought she heard something, got the shotgun out and shot through the door. And his next statement wasn't, so I asked her to no longer have a shotgun. So he carries a gun thinking that he's gonna be James Bond. Look, I love James Bond, I wanna be James Bond, but I don't actually buy his gun and put it in my house where I can potentially shoot my girlfriend. His wife has already randomly fired their shotgun through a door, but that's just how you wanna live. If you're worried about MS-13, maybe somebody needs to get shot with a shotgun. So ridiculous use of money. Obviously it should lead to both an actual conversation about the real threats of groups like MS-13 and possibly higher taxes on rich people who can clearly afford it. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.